Welcome to Gear Check Games. This is part 42 of our commentary for The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker HD. And this is the final part, ladies and gentlemen,
It's a
in
real
which
good
we
thing
finally
Link wears pants in
confront
this game.
Ganondorf. What?
It's a real good thing Link wears pants in this game.
Yeah, it's
Because
probably
that was quite the camera angle.
Oh, God. I thought you meant because it was, like, cold and windy up here on top of Ganon's... Well, no, there's no wind down here because it's, like, frozen in time.
Yeah.
So what's blowing their
Ignore
hair
the sounds
around?
of wind and Link's hair blowing.
Never mind. I obviously have no idea what I'm talking about.
Never mind, this game
Anywho,
sucks. Turn
Let's
it
take
off.
a moment here to appreciate this moment with Ganondorf here, which is one of the few moments in the series where they've actually bothered to give him something of a relatable human motive. In that, you know, his people in Ocarina of Time, like, lived in exile in the desert, whereas everybody else got to live in this beautiful, like, fertile kingdom of Hyrule.
Yeah.
And he wasn't cool with that, so, like, he had something of an understandable motive for
Yeah.
the stuff he did. Like, nearly, like, stabbing a child in the head with a sword.
Yeah.
I would say his means to his ends did not they didn't coincide well.
Well, yeah, like, he's, you know, obviously a bad person that needs to be stopped, but, like, I much prefer this take on Ganon where it's like, you know, he's a guy, like, he's corrupted by his desire for power and control, but, like, he's just a, you know, he's human. I don't like the explanation that they started going with Skyward Sword, where Ganon is this ethereal, timeless monster that reincarnates every 100 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Where it's, you know, like, he's just pure evil. There's not, like, a human motivation behind anything that he does. Like, that's just less interesting. I'm sorry. Why'd you do this, Skyward Sword? So, yeah. Ganon here is enjoying the music, Dan.
That timpani, though.
And who should arrive just in time to save the day but the Burger King? That sneaky king got him.
It's Bosphoramus Rome.
The camera just pans over to the King of Hyrule doing the got him hand.
Uh-huh. I couldn't figure out how to make sunglasses come down onto his face.
Oh, man.
Oh, Triforce. I wish for some burn ointment for Ganondorf.
Yeah. That's kind of, you know, admittedly, that's kind of an odd place to put a joke like that, but, like, I laughed at it. He who touches it.
Eh?
Look who's touching it.
Why is Ganondorf just frozen there?
Because he's in shock, like, are you kidding me?
He's like, after all that work.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And then the
gosh.
Triforce scatters like the Dragon Balls.
So what you're saying is, we could go get it.
We could. Be a pain in the ass, but we could.
So if I was Ganondorf, I would just, like, break down.
That's pretty much
He
what
does.
he's doing right
look
here.
Look at this. He's nuts. I remember being kind of, like, disturbed by this as a child, like, oh my god.
This is where the
He's nuts.
this is where the warlock title comes in, because he just sounds like a crazy old warlock.
Yeah.
A future for you.
Yeah, we've got a stark contrast here between Ganondorf and the King, where Ganondorf is, you know, he can't detach himself from, like, what he wanted in the past, and he's willing to go to whatever means to recreate it. Whereas by this point, the King seems to have realized that, like, Hyrule is buried underneath an ocean. Like, you know, not to put too fine a point on it, but, like, that ship has sailed.
Ah.
Oh, man. So even though he lost, he's like, I'm not gonna let you get away.
Yeah.
like for
It's
free.
yeah, I've resigned myself to my fate, but
Yeah.
you're gonna die too.
Well, he was originally not even gonna kill him. He's just like, listen, man, I just need the Triforce, and so you're gonna help me out. Now he's just like, you know what? No, you don't get to live.
Where is the king?
Hey, I was gonna point out the king mysteriously appears just in time to touch the Triforce, and then mysteriously disappears when danger's afoot. He's actually just like an ass. He's hiding behind a pillar somewhere.
We need to build some character in these children.
I was gonna say.
Listen, man, this is your future, not mine.
Ever since whenever this game came out, what was it, 2004? I've loved this fight.
Oh yeah,
Like,
this is a good
fight is legendary for me.
Well, I mean, just look at it. Like this arena is amazing.
Yeah. It's like you
And
got-
beyond that, like I love what an intimidating enemy Ganondorf is. Like not only because he's like 3 times taller than you, and he has swords that are 6 feet long.
Swords.
Yeah.
But
Well,
he can, like, your shield does not always protect you from him. Like if he can swing around your shield or like kick you hard enough that it doesn't matter. So
Look.
I mean, it's a little silly when you're just kind of like backing away from him like that, and he keeps doing the same animation. But
Yeah.
I like they throw some kicks in there too.
yeah, he's pissed.
Speaking of his height, like I like that they do make him seem very gargantuan because like not only was he a large man, like in general, but like you are a child, so he seems even bigger. Just adds to it.
Nice that they incorporated Zelda and the final boss here as well. Like, I feel like that kind of does more. It's a little more respectful of like Tetra's character than her being like, "Oh, you're the descendant of the princess, so you need to go hide in the basement and not help out with the quest anymore."
Yeah.
Which is like, no, I can fight. I'm a freaking pirate captain.
It's something that hasn't really been done in any other Zelda games, except for Spirit Tracks, which I
Twilight
really,
Princess
really
had
enjoy
a-
in Spirit Tracks.
Didn't
oh,
Zelda
right. I
help
guess
you out in the horseback part of Twilight Princess?
Yeah, in the horse section she does. But like not in the
shit.
final fight.
Speaking of Twilight Princess, that may be a dark and edgy game, but there's no scene in Twilight Princess where Link stabs Ganondorf in the face with a sword.
Pretty metal.
Yeah, you said legendary earlier. This is legendary.
I always thought that like the jewel on his head was the source of his power or something, so shattering it turns him into stone. And but I mean, having played all the other Zelda games, there's not really anything like that alluded to. So I guess maybe it's just like he just happened to have a jewel on his head for decoration, and you actually just stabbed him in the head, and now that's what sealed him in stone.
Yeah.
He's the best friggin' song in the game.
Yeah, this is beautiful, this rendition of Link to the Past Hyrule Castle theme.
Yeah.
And I've wanted to talk about this ending for a very long time, so I'm going to take this opportunity. This is my favorite ending of any Zelda game.
Same.
Because not only because I think it's a really good conclusion for this story, but this to me was kind of like the last Zelda game that I played, at least in like the terms of the chronology, that had something to like teach people about like, how to live life. Because, we've got the juxtaposition here of Ganondorf, who can't let go of his old like failed ambitions. And in many ways the king is kind of in the same boat, but he has recognized that you can never fully recapture the past. You can try and try, but it's never going to be exactly the same as it was, when you became so attached to it. So really, and this is something I've kind of grappled with over the years, but really the best solution is to just, move on with your life. it's not going to be the same, but it's going to be something new in a good way that, like, I don't know. I'm not probably explaining this very well, but
No, I get it.
like this, I don't know. There have been times in the past where I've played this game at points in my life where I, like periods of like really extreme change in my life, and it's kind of given me hope in those times where I lost something that I was really attached to, and I didn't know like how I was gonna move on from that. But I'm being completely sincere here. I'm not. I'm,
You gonna cry?
God.
You gonna cry, baby?
No.
I like that the king almost changed his mind.
No, he was just waving goodbye.
Oh.
Well, I guess you can read
At the end of the game, he's like, "Wait, no, I made a mistake. Please save me."
But yeah, he's just willing to like let himself get washed away and put the future in the hands of the kids. Tetra's back to her old self.
She's reacquired her tan.
She must have had a cake worth of makeup on. Aw, Kamali to the rescue, once again.
Yeah.
MVP of the game, to be honest.
Yeah, see, the future is not down in Hyrule. The future is up here on this pirate ship. God help us.
Oh, yeah. Your sister leads the pirates now, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's got a nice little skull dress.
I love it.
See yet.
Yeah, the pirates are all like, "We don't know where Tetra went." I mean, you kind of look like Tetra. You can be
Yeah.
the new Tetra.
Hey, you're blonde. You're a girl.
You are the new Captain Falcon from this day forward.
There are many Dread Pirate Rabbits. I am merely the 17th.
Dread Pirate Tetra.
It works.
Thank you for making that reference. Yeah.
Yeah, now she's got a little pirate dress.
Oh my god, I love that
Yeah.
dress.
And if you start a new game, we talked about this earlier. If you start a new game, she will have that dress on throughout the game. So yeah.
What if it panned over the pirate ship and it showed like Medley waving to you? Makar was nowhere to be seen.
Oh god.
he died in the temple.
He's like in the prow of the ship like he is on the King of Red Lions.
Oh, Anuma.
Aw.
I really like that little ending because it's like, oh, all your buddies that you've helped throughout the entire game have
Yeah.
come to rescue you.
Yeah, it's such a great addendum. Like I was saying before, Hyrule is empty. There's nothing down there. Like it's in the past. It's in the past.
It's in the past.
But the future is up here. Like this is the way the world is now. It's just so hopeful and nice.
I didn't see Beetle on that pirate ship.
Well, they'll pick him up on the way. Okay.
Beetle was in the belly of the ship. He was developing a bike-like system to make the boat levitate like an airship.
Well, they do have seam technology in Spirit Tracks, so
Yeah.
I guess it's not too far off. Also, favorite Zelda ending, favorite Zelda credits theme. Which is weird, because this is very closely derived from the title theme. In fact,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the title theme is just like the first part of this chopped off, but holy
That's
cow,
nice.
this gets me every
Wait,
time.
if you don't do all the side quests, do these people not appear?
No, I think they do anyway.
Okay.
It's not like a Majora's Mask situation. And they honestly, they changed the credits for the HD version where the original version was just like character portraits, but this one also features like little scenes from the game
Okay.
in the order that you encountered them, whereas the original version just kind of went island by island. So they kind of threw off some of the timing, but I would say overall the original intent is still here, just kind of, maybe a little less clear. But again, it was like the game saying like this is the future, like all the new people that you met in this game, like the new experiences that you had.
And then
I
all
don't
the
know.
enemies. Hey, they do an enemy showcase as well.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So yeah, I guess to sum up my thoughts on Wind Waker, obviously this was one of my formative video games, and obviously I have a lot of love and reverence for it, in spite of its flaws. I do admit those flaws, of course. Like, I would be a fool not to.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I would not have objected to more dungeons. I can see why the pacing of the sailing, and especially the Triforce hunting at the end, would deter a lot of people who enjoy Zelda for maybe different reasons than I do. But, like, I don't know. I don't feel those as problems. Like, I can see them as problems from other people's perspective when I try to be a little more objective, but
like the whole package at the end of the day.
It doesn't bother me. Like, it doesn't sully just what a great and, like, uplifting game this is. Just, like, pretty much every second I'm playing it.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
I feel the same. Like there are, like you said, there are some deterring parts. Like, I would never in my life go back to the GameCube version to do the stupid Triforce hunt. Like, this would probably be the way to do it, but, like, outside of that, like, this game is like a good little, cute little package of a Zelda game. Plus, it's, like, connected to it's connected to the legacy of Ocarina well.
Well, it builds on them in an interesting way that isn't just, like, copying them.
Yeah.
Or, like, fawning over them. It's
or
like,
retconning them.
It was great in its time, but, like, we don't just want to make the same game again and again, or at least at this point they didn't.
Yeah.
They've moved past Ura Zelda.
Yeah. How about you, Dan? What's your Wind Waker hot take?
I feel like I like the gameplay in other Zelda games more, like in Ocarina and Majora's Mask. Definitely Majora's Mask, because that's got some really nice stuff. And I feel like I feel like
Oh,
yeah,
there's
it's
Iwata.
I guess basically it's not like standing head and shoulders above other Zelda games in my eyes, but I do feel like this game has the best, like, main story out of all the Zelda games, like, by far.
Yeah, I would agree there.
I would say it's, like, very concise, like, and it had the story had a direction, like.
Well, it's a good middle ground between, like, the more minimalistic, like, N64 games and, you know, like Twilight Princess or Skyward Sword, where there's just, like, so many cutscenes. And, like, you know, there are story beats in those games that really work and hit home, but, you know, at the end of the day, it does kind of compromise some of the gameplay. Whereas this one, like, I feel like there's a good, like, amount of story. Like, it doesn't outstay its welcome.
Oh, King of Red Mines.
Oh, he's just a boat now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel like this game kind of perfectly encapsulates everything that is Zelda, because you've got, like, a kid who's kind of just, like, you're suddenly, like, thrust into having to save the world, and, like, just kind of struggling with that, basically taking on the world at such a young age and having to learn about all the stuff that's going on. And you've got stuff with Hyrule and Ganon that's kind of a bit more complicated than just he's the bad guy, defeat him. And it's like all these different characters, and you got your family, and I don't know. It's just like a quintessential, just kind of like kid's adventure.
Yeah.
And but with like a bit more to it to learn about just life in general. Just a deeper message.
Yeah, I'll say it was definitely an obvious, you know, admission of bias, number 900 million, but yeah, this was, I think this game is a great way to introduce people to Zelda. it was a great way to introduce me to Zelda. I'll say that for sure. But yeah, if everybody's got all their cards on the table, thank you so much if you have been watching this entire series and made it all the way to the end. Like it, I know Let's Plays are a dime a dozen on YouTube, but it really has meant a lot to me to finally be able to do this and, play through this game and make these videos and share them online. Like, even if I only reach like a couple people, like it means a lot to be able to do this. So thank you sincerely for watching these videos.
Yeah.
And
this is the part where he cries.
I'm waiting. I'm holding it back.
This is the part where he quits Let's Plays forever.
My eyes are only kind of moist now.
He's got the big old corks in his eyes.
Oh. So yeah, but Gear Check Games is far from over. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be picking up with our next A game, Pokemon Red. So look for that in the near future. Thanks again from the bottom of my heart for joining us for this game. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like an end of movie stinger. Like Gear Check Games is not over. Join us next time. Just like black screen with white text.
To be continued.
Yeah, that's Gear Check Games.
Yep. Gear Check Games. No spaces. If you search it with spaces, it doesn't show up.
Yeah.
Remember it well, ladies and gents.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
See you next time.
Bye.